Started on YouTube. Hi, thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm JB Bryan of JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of AfroEconomics, a strategic financial management program designed for the advancement of Black wealth in America and abroad. I'm simulcasting. I'm doing my best, so I'm sharing my face with YouTube and Facebook Live. And I have just fallen in love with Facebook Live, but I have a huge library on YouTube and I refuse to stop my commitment to my YouTube family. Thank you all for making AfroEconomics with JB Bryan on Wednesday Live. How you doing, Stephen Hawks? See, that's one thing I like about Facebook Live, is that it does allow me to get feedback from those of you who are out there who actually have some questions about economic insecurities in our family. I've tried that with YouTube, and please put your comments. I do always reply to comments. If you ask questions, I even go into the YouTube, and sometimes I get it like 6 months later and you all say something, so make sure you do. I was listening to a speech last night by Stokely Carmichael, and I had never listened to him. He was a civil rights leader back in the 60s, and he actually inspired me. And I thought about it. I was like, here he is in the 1960s, right around the time, you know, when I was born, and in the late, don't be trying to figure out how old I am, like, you know, but he was making a speech in the late 60s, around the time where I was born. And I was like, this is amazing that we're still dealing with those same issues of economic insecurity within our Black community. And I thought, like, you know, how maybe I need to make sure that we discuss how we can end it. You know, right, Tammy? Thank you for hanging out. You know, let's talk about some things that we can do using AfroEconomics, the 10 principles of AfroEconomics. I am certain can make a change, can make things different for you and your family and your finances and your financial future for you and your family. So let me just share, like, economic insecurity is it's much more it's much easier for you to find a definition of economic security. But so if we reverse what economic security means, we can find out economic insecurity, because if you Google economic insecurity, it's not going to give you a direct answer. So I just reverse what economic security is and use it for economic insecurity is not having stable income or other resources to support an acceptable standard of living now or in your foreseeable future. Economic insecurity also refers to your individual or family money management and saving capability. So, I mean, think about that. Not having stable income or other resources to support you at an acceptable standard of living. So that is a huge challenge for too many of us. And even if they're going to work every day and they're, you know, have accepted that this is a great job, it's a great career opportunity, but they're not secure about it. Sorry, Herman. Bear with me, y'all. I had to give a commercial to University of Virginia. We got Black Alumni Weekend coming up. I don't know what's up with that, but I know that that water that I just went to get right before we went on the air is worth $1 million. That definitely reduced my economic insecurities right there. So that water is priceless, but definitely, and drink more. I should have drank more. I actually sat down before I went on the air and I drank a lot of water, my friend Stephen Hawks. Yes, I did, but it's still, and it's probably because I have the window like blasting open at me with pollen, like coming in, pollen on my throat. So let's talk more. So how are we going to conquer that economic insecurity? How are we going to make sure that we have stable income and that we have access to resources? Because we know, unfortunately, that in our community, we don't have a lot of family members that have a lot of money that have been passed on to you, so that you're not actually relying on your employment income, that you're actually have to go to work in order to live. There are actually people out there who work because they just want to work and they're adding to their assets, but they were born with enough assets to actually create income for themselves and maintain their style of living. But that's not happening enough for us. So AfroEconomics is a way to help us actually develop wealth so that at the end of our life, we are leaving assets for the next generation so that things can be different for them. Because when they were talking about Stokely Carmichael was talking about something in the 1960s that is still a problem today, which has a lot to do with principle one of AfroEconomics not having what? Not having that legacy. Principle one of AfroEconomics is making sure that we have a legacy, that we're thinking about what I do, why am I doing it, and how can my life make things better for the next generation. So let's talk about this. So a solution, something that we can do to help reduce economic insecurity for yourself, for your family. Training and education. Training and education has been the key for us in creating income. I don't know. She's back at it. I'm going to go off camera and close the window. It is beautiful in Virginia today, but not for my throat. So training and education has been the key for us in creating income. But for every generation, unfortunately, it's like we're starting over. It's like we're starting over with having to pay for school. Like even if you're having to get your training and education, but you're having to finance it like too many of us are having to do, then you're starting off your career with debt where your parents actually could have been electrician, but it didn't require going to these expensive technical schools that you have to pay for now. So if we had thought about it, that every time the criteria for things is always changing. There could have been a time where it didn't require all the licenses and things that your family has been doing or what you want to do. But in order to take it to the next level, like the person that's a mechanic, that is the best person in the world at fixing cars. They're great at it, but they actually don't have the license or whatever, the certifications that are required. And a lot of that is because what? The resources. Economic insecurity comes from not having the resources in order so that we can change the things that we need to do, so that we can change and create a dependable source of income, that we can accumulate assets that can create income for us. But in order for us to get there, we're going to have to start being more forward thinking, focusing more on the legacy of principle one of AfroEconomics of what can I do today that will make things different for those who come behind me. And so training and education has to be the key for us creating income for every generation and starting over, but we're not compounding, we're starting over, so we're not compounding our experiences. And in many cases, the second generation is worse off due to debt that is accumulated by many in our community now. That I had one client that told me, he said when he first started accumulating assets, they would not loan a Black person 100% in order to get a house. So you had to have a savings of at least like a 20% in order to get the down payment. And that, which of course other people didn't have to have that, but we had to have it. And he said that ended up being the thing that really helped him. He said that because he had to go into each of his properties with equity, he saved more, he went in with ownership in the property. It helped him not go through the foreclosures that too many in our communities go through now, because they're not saving enough. They're not going into the home with an ownership position. So we're excited about 2 mortgages, 100%, no money down type situations where all that does is just mean that you own none of it. And you're almost, in many cases, unfortunately, worse off than a renter. So we have to be very careful. I know Rodney will back me on this. We have to be very careful on what we do and how we use our money, and stop just thinking that, oh, I want this material item and that's the best way to build wealth. that is not true for everyone. There is a whole bunch of people who could be doing a lot of other things, but they're putting their money into a home that's way too big, and they're paying way too many taxes and way too much insurance, and they've got 5 bedrooms that are empty, and they could be putting that money away into a retirement account, into some tax-deferred investments, into another real estate property that could create income for them, but they're caught up in what it looks like. So a second way to avoid economic insecurity is to avoid materialism. And then also avoiding materialism, but yet what? Invest in your own businesses. Invest in our own businesses. Take your money and invest in a business of yourself. Meaning that if you want to build a business, make sure it's the best business. Put everything back into the business. Don't just take and pull from your business every time you make a dime, spend a dime. But make a dime, only spend 50 cents, put 50 cents back into the business. Invest in other businesses. That could be buying stocks in other companies. But before, we have to really know is that you could actually, when you invest in companies, you invest in other companies, you invest in Microsoft, you invest in Apple, you invest in, all of these great ideas out there. Don't you have a great idea? It's the same thing. You're just helping them fulfill their dream. What about you investing in your dream? That's an investment. That makes things better. That reduces. You are building your own business, creating your own income. You're reducing your own economic insecurities. Or if you are working somewhere, it is vital that you are saving, just like you're a business owner, that you are saving a portion of that income that you are making so that you are or paying down your debts aggressively. You may have gone into debt and you're working for someone. It is time for you to really focus on paying down your debts aggressively. So invest in your own business, invest in other businesses, invest in yourself, invest in better habits, invest in your health. All of these are principles of AfroEconomics. Entrepreneurship, principle number 7. Principle 10, Black health and Black wealth. These are the things that are going to reduce our economic insecurity. Get the book, AfroEconomics. Get the book. Get the legacy edition with the Adinkra symbols. We're letting you know that these habits go back to our legacy in Africa. These habits that we're talking about avoiding the materialism, focusing on financial independence, becoming independent, learning to live within your means, investing in your own business. These are habits that we had traditionally from the beginning. These aren't new things that you're seeing these people on TV that they've started. Donald Trump is not the first one that was owning buildings and things like that. We had these things. We can have these things. And he didn't do it by himself. He did it by encouraging people to believe in what his ideas were. You can do that. You can get your family members. That's how Motown was created, by his family believing in his skills as a record creator, producer, finding talent, whatever, Barry Gordy's abilities to do what he had to do. So invest in yourself and your habits. And then a third point, the solution to economic insecurity is build a legacy. Don't just leave money. You go, I got insurance for my children. That's nothing. I was looking at a quote from W.E.B. Du Bois, and he was saying that children learn from what we do. They learn from what we do. That's the best thing that you could do, is leave a legacy. Like my Uncle Marvin passed on this week. And I'm saying Uncle Marvin had no college education when he left North Carolina, went to Baltimore, certainly with economic insecurity. Trained him, got training, became a city bus driver, went to community college at night, finished his associates, finished his college, got into management in the public transportation, and retired as a manager. And he evaporated economic insecurity that he had dealt with his entire childhood, along with my father. They evaporated that by getting the skills and training that they need. And in whatever way they had to do it, that's how they got it done. That's how we can do that. But you build a legacy from that example. You know, they set that example for me that it's not going to come easy. You're going to have to take some chances. You might have to change where you are. You might have to change where you're located. You might have to change what you do. But that's what I want my daughter to inherit, more than just the assets, but to inhabit my lifestyle, the way I do things. My mom didn't give up. My mom was determined. I was a fighter, that she will, stand up for what is right. She will look out for people. She will look out for her people. She will build a strong and wealthy Black community because what she believes in, she stands for, committed her life to it. That's what you want your kids to know. What do you stand for? What is the first principle of AfroEconomics? Legacy. So we want to reduce economic insecurity by building a legacy, but not just leaving money, leaving a good name, leaving a good integrity-driven life, leaving a good example. A good name is everything. It's everything. It just feels good. You said people can call you many things. They can hate you, but they respect you because you do what you do and you always do the right thing. And they know you had integrity. They might not agree because a lot of people don't operate in a zone of integrity. Integrity, the fifth principle of AfroEconomics, because it's vital that we know that we have to have and make choices that are deeper than what they just look like to other people. Because something can look right, but it's wrong. So we have to be willing to do the right thing and look out for those who don't know any better. Be the example for those who don't know any better. Be the example for those who don't believe that they can make it anyway. Be the example. So we're going to stop it. We're going to chop it. We're going to cut up economic insecurity by developing better financial habits. And I challenge you to email me at jb@afroeconomics.com and get the ebook free. Or go to the bookstore and get the actual book. Order it. Principle 1 of AfroEconomics, legacy. Second principle, self-reliance and financial independence. You got to be committed to it. That's what's going to increase and reduce your insecurity. That you said, yeah, it is what it is. This is the way my financial situation is, but I'm changing it. And these are the things that I'm doing. And that's why I have the AfroEconomics membership, because it gives you a strategy. First thing we do is you start looking at the financial plan, filling in your information, seeing where you are now. Then we go back and we look at what your homework is. We go back each quarter. For some people, it's, I got to improve my credit score. Well, the way you improve your credit score is looking at the credit report. So we got to look at the credit report. Some people, it's, what am I doing in my work investment plan? We look at the investments that you're doing. I evaluate what your risk level is. Then we look at the investment options that they have available to you at work. And some people, it's, I got to retire. I'm retiring now. What do I do with these investments? And we set up a proper portfolio based on your goals, your risk tolerance. But we got to know where we are. Some people just sit there and they're totally insecure. They live in a state of economic insecurity, doing nothing about it. It's like the person who says, I got to get more sleep. And every night they stay up watching TV. That doesn't solve anything. They're still killing themselves. They're not getting the sleep. If you need more sleep, if you need to improve your money, if you refuse to be broke, it's going to take action. Organizing things. The third principle, organization and planning. Increasing your knowledge, as I said, training and education is a key. It has been the key for so many of us getting out of poverty. It's been the key for I'm here today because of my parents getting an education, meeting at college, then moving on from there. Didn't have any entrepreneurs other than my grandparents that were farmers. And I had a grandparent that was a farmer and a minister. Still a form of entrepreneurship. But I went back 2 generations to say, hey, I can do this. We can be entrepreneurs. So we can do this. And yes, indeed, farmers are entrepreneurs. Yes, we are. So knowledge, increasing your knowledge. Working principle 5, integrity, the soul of your money. The 6th principle, review and accountability, keeping up with your statements. You become a lot less insecure if you know what you're doing. When is the last time you opened up your bank statement and looked at everything? Or when they send you the email and say your bank statement is available, have you looked at it? Have you seen what these people are doing with your money? Rodney said, good morning, JB. Anyone looking to establish a company, corporation, nonprofit, the resource building tomorrow? will assist them. And then sympathies for your Uncle Marvin. So he put like straight up a commercial on my page. Look, I do that too. We have an entrepreneurship membership of AfroEconomics. And the review and accountability, check yourself. The 7th principle, the fearless entrepreneur. The 8th principle, have credit confidence. Number 9, determination, make your dreams come true. And the 10th principle, Black health and Black wealth. We know we gotta have that, because you're gonna be, a lot of economic insecurity is created from disabilities. A lot of times people think that people lose their home because of a disability, but no, most of the time, no, because of a job. People feel like people lose their homes because of a job, but most people lose their home and their standard of living due to a disability, unfortunately. So the longer we can keep ourselves healthy, the healthier that we can be. It will reduce a lot of the expenses, because healthcare is becoming more and more expensive. More and more is coming out of your pocket. So all of that has to be calculated into retirement and financial plans now. It's amazing. So it's real. So definitely keep yourself healthy. It'll reduce your economic insecurity. It'll keep you at work. It'll keep you happy. It'll help you build your business. I thank God that I've been healthy for my business is 22 years old, and every day when I just thank God, thank Him for being healthy. It's everything. So thank you all for watching on Facebook. Thank you so much to my YouTube family. Thank you all for just hanging out. Thank you for your comments. Make sure you share this video with your friends. Look at those. Look, Facebook also has a little love stars. They go all over your page. YouTube got to give me some love stars. I am J.B. Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer at J.B. Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the author of AfroEconomics, Our Black Wealth Matters. And we also have a children's book and the AfroEconomics workbook that goes along. So please check out AfroEconomics.com. The next live workshop, now I do this every Wednesday, we're doing this, but to visit and participate in person, Washington, D.C. on April 22nd and in Richmond on April 29th. So go to the website, it's absolutely free, and you get your own workbook. So come and hang out with me. Be blessed. Enjoy your day. Look forward to talking with you all again next week. And thank you all for your participation. God bless.